Okay, so we're here today. I'm actually thrilled. We're talking to Dr. Chris Allen, who is also known as Sleep Doctor Chris, and he's doing so many things for so many people to help them sleep and improve their life through better sleep. He's a board certified sleep doctor. He specializes in the diagnosis of and treatment of sleep disorders. So, Dr. Chris, welcome.
Glenn, thank you so much for having me on here. Very honored to do that. And, I just know that I remember us communicating a couple of years ago, and a lot has happened in those couple of years. And I'm glad that we're still here in the space doing this.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, we have gotten into this space for similar reasons. We both weren't sleeping well and wanted to find out what it was all about and improve it as much as we could. It's one thing that I have found over the years is that it's really, really gratifying to help people get the sleep that they need. And now that they're understanding it better, they're more willing to do it as well. I don't know if you're finding the same thing.
No, I'm definitely finding the same thing, Glenn. And the funny thing about it is that like sleep is like kind of cool now. People talk about it. There's like rings and watches that talks about your sleep. And so I'm glad that, people are talking about it, but I want to make sure that when they are sleeping, that they are getting quality sleep and actually doing what they can to prioritize it. And so I'm glad that it's happening. That's one of the biggest reasons why I am the social media space, because I take care of my patients, but I can only do so many things with my patients. And being on a platform where people can hear about it, it might be second nature to me, but then teaching other people about it and saying what's important for their sleep is something that's very beneficial for me.
Yeah, great. So go ahead and tell us how and why you got into the sleep space in the first place.
Yeah. It's funny. I love telling this story. There's two reasons. The first reason is one day I was working and I saw one of my medical assistants. They were just looking on their phone and everyone was hovering around them. I'm like, what are they looking at? And they were like looking at a video of someone talking about sleep. And I was excited. I'm like, oh, let me see. But then after I looked at it, I'm like, ooh, that was wrong. And so I'm like, there's people out there, and if you have a phone, you have a platform. You have a platform, you can talk about what you want to. And I'm like, you have to have the right voices out there. So, I'm a person that took an oath to do no harm and to, help people. And so I'm like, you know what? I like being on social media. I feel like this is a good avenue for me. And another way is that I feel like I'm really good at talking to people about having them understand where I'm coming from or understanding a problem, and even especially when it comes to sleep. And I sound like a cheesy commercial when I say this, but I always tell people this: you're like, not your doctor. I have obstructive sleep apnea. I've been treated for 21 years, and so I know the difference of what it means to have quality sleep personally. And I just want to spread that wealth on that and letting people know that, you're not alone. I have a disorder where 80% of people that have obstructive sleep apnea, they don't know about it. And even if you don't have a sleep disorder, when you're not getting quality sleep, that still leads to a lot of bad things. It leads to cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, diabetes. It can even lead to stroke. They had a study that came out that shows like when you're sleeping, your brain is not only is it recharging, it's getting rid of the toxins. And so I use this example a lot. It's kind of like washing dishes. If it takes you need anywhere from 7 to 9 hours to get good quality sleep. But say if you're washing dishes and it takes 7 hours to wash it and you only do it for 5 or 4, you still got some dirty dishes left over. And that's what's kind of happening in your brain. I mean, it's not dirty dishes, but what it is, it's they call it the glymphatic system, where those toxins can actually, if they stick around, can lead to Alzheimer's, can lead to dementia. And you don't even have to have a sleep disorder. That alone can lead to it. So sleep disorder or not, sleep is important.
Yeah, and so those are all scary things, right? Once people start finding out about that, they really want to do something about it. So when people come to you, what are the top three issues that they come to you with? Is it just I can't sleep, help me, or what are they expressing when they come?
It's funny. I always tell people this. The most common words that I hear with my patients, especially my male patients, are like my wife or my spouse. And so they're doing something in their sleep that is disrupting their bed partner. And be that it's snoring, be that it's flip flopping around, be that it's just laying in bed watching TV when their spouse is trying to sleep. And so that's the one I hear the most common, that something's wrong with their bed partner. The second thing that I hear is that when they wake up, they're not rested and they're doing what they can to try to get good sleep and good rest. And sometimes they do, but then they wake up and they're not rested. And it's my job to figure out why. And then another part is that they can't go to sleep. And so they might be doing certain things that will keep them up, or they might not, and they still having problems to fall asleep. And so what I do at the beginning, I make sure that they have a good sleep hygiene, because sometimes that alone can fix it. Unfortunately, most times it doesn't, but that's the first step that a lot of people haven't taken yet. And they feel like they have, but they haven't done it in a sufficient way that I would want them to.
Yeah, I understand that, and I'm going to insert here that I just became a certified sleep science coach. So as much as I've learned, yeah, as much as I've learned over the years from talking to people from and certainly talking to experts like yourself and just observing my own sleep, is that there's so many things that you can do, but everybody's different. But I know there are certain things that everybody can do, like sleep hygiene and the different steps and options within the sleep hygiene, that can help any and everybody. With that, what are maybe the top three tips or solutions that are kind of quick fixes for most people, and then what's the big fix that is helping your patients?
That's a really good question. The first thing I always tell them, and because the hardest part about my job is that I got to talk to them about stuff that happens to them when they're unconscious. So simple. If you have a bed partner, talk to them. That's the first tip, because you don't know what you're doing in your sleep because you're unconscious, but I'm pretty sure your bed partner does. So if you're snoring, if there's pausing and breathing, if you're flip flopping around like a flapjack, then they're going to let you know. And that knowledge is power, because then you can take that to figure out what you need to do to fix it. And more important, go to a sleep professional that can help you with it. So that's one. Another thing that I tell patients is that, you know, the bedroom, especially the bed, is only for three things. And they all start with the letter S. So if you're sick, if you're sleeping, I think everybody knows what that third S is for. And so if it's not happening, you're not in bed. If it takes you more than 20 minutes to fall asleep, get out of bed. Now, mind you, I didn't say TV. I didn't even say read a book. And people can still do that. I just tell them to do it on the side of the bed. And then the last part, and I think the most important part, they're all important, but this is the one that like no one else can do for you but you. How you set your bed up, how you set your sleep environment is going to be how you set up how you're going to sleep. So you need your room cool, you need your room dark, and you need your room quiet. Those three things get you success. And that's something that you could start tonight.
Yeah, so those are at least three consistent things that everybody should be paying attention to, right? Setting up their bedroom to optimize sleep. Um, and it has amazed me when I came out with a sleep hoodie. It was kind of before all this research started coming out. It was before sleep trackers became so popular. Um, so my next question for you is, when people come in and you have the conversation, what are the top misunderstandings people have, or what are they getting wrong about sleep most of the time?
And so what they get wrong about it is that, at the end of the day, everyone for some reason is like, I need 8 hours. I need 8 hours. And my thing is, Actually, normal sleep is anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep for adults. In children, there's a different range depending on their age. But for adults, as soon as you're 18, anywhere from 7 to 9 hours. And I mean sleep. So I rather work with someone that's having 6 hours of continuous sleep because we can get them to get up to that 7 to 9 hours area than someone spending 7 to 9 hours of time in the bed. And so a lot of people get that wrong. Another thing that they get wrong, and I always say this all the time, is that snoring is not normal. It is not normal. And the thing is that that's why I tell people to talk to their bed partner. Because if you're snoring, or worse, have pausing and breathing, that needs to be fixed. And at the end of the day, one of the things that people get wrong, and I always tell them this, Mr. Sandman wants his money. And you have to make sure that you get that consistent sleep. And I have a lot of people that tell me that, like, look, Sleep Dr. Chris, I'll just catch up on the weekend. Can't catch up on the weekend.
Wrong.
Mr. Sandman wants his money. They call it sleep debt for a reason. So for example, say if you only sleep 5 hours, right? And you're like, I'm gonna catch up on the weekend. So by the weekend, not only we have to sleep that 7 hours that you're supposed to sleep, you have to add an extra 10 because you're gonna sleep throughout that week, that work week. And no one's sleeping for 17 hours. And so that's what I usually tell them that a lot of people get wrong. And, you know, and it's funny how a lot of people still feel that way. And I sound like a broken record when I say it, but I say it because a lot of people don't know that. And I'm glad that I get to talk to you and more people that didn't know about it hear that. And most important part about this is making sure you give yourself grace, because you might be listening to this like, wow, I don't sleep 7 hours, or my room is not dark or cool. Knowledge is power. You're learning about it, and that's what you reach to strive for. And I'll be transparent. Do I sleep 7 hours every single night? Definitely not. But I know that's what you have to do to get to that point, and you give yourself grace to make sure you strive that way. Because when you do that, consistency matters.
That's a wonderful way to put it. Give yourself some grace. You know, you do what you can in life to optimize and everything that you do, whether it's work or your personal relationships or it's sleep or it's an athletic endeavor, whatever it might be. You're always trying your hardest, and that can be something that helps the overall too. So, is it that new understanding that they come out of a session with you with? Is that part of the solution for them?
I mean, knowledge is power, and I think that is the understanding of it, and to also make sure that they're giving themselves grace. But then it's when it starts to put it into action. I was literally talking to a patient not too long ago that told me, it's like, you know what? I actually did what you told me to, and I'm just surprised that it actually worked. And sometimes it's something as simple as cold, dark, quiet room. I was like, I just can't imagine that. And they were happy. They were a little upset too. It's like, that's it. That's
Yeah,
all
right.
I have to
So
do.
easy.
Yeah, and sometimes it is so easy. You just have the right people to tell you what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it like anything else, you can think about it too much, and that can keep you up. Um, and I guess I really kind of want to cut to with all your knowledge and all the people that you've helped. What is it that attracted you to deep sleepwear or see deep sleepwear as a solution, and particularly the sleep hoodie?
Well, you know, it's funny being a content creator and being Sleep Dr. Chris. I believe in products that I believe in. And I remember coming across like your product and just with that sleepwear, like the deep sleepwear and that hoodie, I was like, okay, this goes to what I tell my patients to do. And it's something, it's like it's three in one. One, it provides dark, and surprisingly, even though it's a hoodie, how cool it feels. And the bottom line is set yourself up to prioritize having a room that is quiet. And so even before I was able to try it, I'm like, okay, this is going along the same philosophy that I feel. because I always tell everyone sweet dreams, and that's a personal belief that I have. Everyone deserves to have sweet dreams. And with that, trying it, I'm like, okay, this is the real deal. Like you wear it, it promotes what I have. And to be transparent, I have a sleep disorder. I have obstructive sleep apnea. So even wearing it and still having my obstructive sleep apnea treated with CPAP therapy, it still worked and it was still comfortable. And that made it even better. And so it's something that I believe in. And I have products that I believe in, and I call it like my dream list. And that's why it's on the dream list, because it's the real deal. It works, and it goes on to the basis of what we do as sleep professionals and sleep doctors.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a leading question here, I think, because not everybody can control everything in their bedroom, whether it's the light, the noise, the temperature. Um, they all conspire to ruin your sleep. Um, and is that the crux of your attraction to deep sleepwear? Because you can optimize your sleep space, wherever that might be, in this one move.
Wholeheartedly. And a big reason why, like I said, it lines up and it makes you intentional with your sleep. I'm just surprised how dark it is. I'm surprised how cool it feels. And even the factor of like prioritizing being quiet, it definitely does help with that. And you can be anywhere. Like, of course, you can be in your own bedroom. But even if I'm taking a red eye or even an afternoon trip where I know I want to take a nap and I'm on the airplane, and I don't know if some of you guys follow me, but I might have I put it in my stories. I'm like, okay, I know I need to get good sleep. Put the hood on, cover the eyes, sweet dreams. And
Y-
so I just like what it promotes and what you give. And especially I travel a lot. And so you can't control your environment if you don't know what the environment is. And even if it is in a hotel that you stayed at before, it can be something unexpected where there's bright lights going on, or it might be a festival or something. It's like, okay, I need this to be like darker. And that helps. Or you don't know what the weather's going to be like. And just the fabric of it feels good. It is surprisingly comfortable. Like I think I told this to Glenn that the only thing I can say that I don't like about it, I wish I would have thought of it myself. Like that's how I feel about it.
I'm here for you, Sleep Doctor Chris. Yeah, it's absolutely a thrill to hear um, professionals like yourself talk about using this solution. It's again, it's something that I invented for myself. It's streamlined and simple, and I think some people, the trolls online will question who the heck would sleep in a hoodie. Uh, and unless you try it, it looks almost too simple to be a solution. Like where do I plug it in? How do I reset it? Where's the boops and the lights and the beeps and everything? How can it possibly work?
And it's funny. I'm just used to that because that's the thing in sleep medicine. I deal with people that have problems when they're unconscious, and they feel like how does this work? Are you sure? Are you serious? So I get that a lot. And one of the things I always tell them, and I tell them with this product, is that try it. It's like my green eggs and ham theory. Try it, then you'll see. Because you don't know something if you don't try it. And what do you have to lose?
Yeah,
And
that's
unfortunately,
it.
I know what you have to lose, because not getting quality sleep goes to, disorders. And as I mentioned earlier, high blood pressure, diabetes, you know, all that stuff when you're not getting quality sleep. So anything you can do to promote that, to promote a good sleep hygiene, to promote that you're getting that quality sleep where you're using it, and you're waking up, you're feeling more refreshed and alert. And I am a doctor, so I will be, open and transparent. Is this going to be the fix to everything? No, but it will be a good start. And it's a good start to know that you're putting that priority into making sure that you go to bed and that you're getting that quality sleep. And if you're doing everything and you're still having problems, that's where someone like me gets involved to make sure that we take it that step even further.
Right. Right. Yeah, it is. It's nice to hear you put it so simply too. I think that's probably part of your bedside manner that is so effective with your patients. Um, I'm interested to know one last thing is this is not a silver bullet, right? There are no silver bullets out there, and I'm completely open about that. Like you had mentioned, what have you got to lose? It's absolutely worth trying. If you're trying to optimize your sleep, if you've never slept well, if you're going through a time in your life or a time in the year that you're just not sleeping well, and you're almost desperate, and you don't want to take uh, cold medicine to try to knock yourself out, this is absolutely worth it. So, is this something that you actively recommend to people, or do you wait to see what their symptoms are and work through it before this um, could be a part of the solution for them?
So to answer that question, honestly, it's both. Because even beforehand, before you have a sleep disorder, before you even have if there's any problems, having a good sleep hygiene is monumental. Because if you don't have a problem, I want to make sure you keep it that way. And so if there's something that can help with that, and like I said, I like to keep it simple. Like you said, you like to keep it simple. And one of the big things that it works on is something that is cool, is something that keeps you dark, and it leads to helping for quiet. And those are the big things that a lot of people don't have. And so if you do that at the beginning, this is something that's making you do it intentionally.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to say too, for myself, and I've heard this from many other people too, when you put it on, it's a cue to the body and the mind that it's time to sleep.
Yep.
Like, this is your gear. You're kind of ready for the battle that sleep can be sometimes. You are armed for it. You're geared up for it, which is just a nice feeling. The term I use, it gets you into the right headspace for sleep, just because it cocoons you. Even before you put the sleep mask on, you just feel
And
your
personally, it feels good. I'm
it
not gonna lie. It's comfortable. It feels good. I like the way that I sleep. I wear like a cutoff. It feels good on my arms. It feels good on my neck. If I'm in the airport
no.
and I need to sleep on the side, it feels good. On the airplane, it just feels good.
Yeah.
And and I'm very open and candid about that because it's something I believe in.
Yeah, it's great. And the other thing about the plane is if you've got a mask that the airline has given you, or a standalone mask, inevitably you're going to lose that thing. And it's nice to know that you'll never lose this one. So
Yeah.
that's kind of an added bonus that may help you sleep at night as well. And lastly, I don't know if this is an easy question to answer, but I'm curious to know what's the one thing that you would want, or you actively want people to understand about sleep and how best to manage their sleep.
It's funny. It's hard because I can say more than one thing.
Yeah.
But one of the things, I'll do like a hyphen or a AB, because the first thing I always tell someone is to talk to your bed partner, because you really don't know how you sleep because you're unconscious. So talking to your bed partner, and if you don't have a bed partner, think about, if I'm going to sleep and I'm waking up and you don't feel alert, you don't feel rejuvenated, or you're going to the bathroom frequently and just not getting through the day, that is a marker to get that checked. And then the slash part is that, and I've already said it earlier, but I'll say it again, snoring is not normal. Your airway is literally like, if this is your mouth and this is the back of your throat, when you're going to bed, you're relaxing. Your muscles are relaxing, even in the back of your throat, and it's getting small. So when you're sleeping and breathing in, that means your airway is compromised and collapsed, and it can relax more, and then airway close. And that's explaining a disorder like obstructive sleep apnea. Now, if you're snoring, does that mean you have a sleep disorder? Definitely not. It means you start to have to ask those questions to yourself. Like, if I'm going to sleep, do I feel alert? Do I actually have pausing and breathing with it, or is it just like snoring? And so those are the things I would actually tell them.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And just out of curiosity, are you a subscriber to or believer in sleep trackers?
I feel like they came a long way. I think they are great, but just like anything, you have to use it in moderation. So, and you have to listen to your body first. So, for example, if you are sleeping and you wake up and you feel great and you feel like you're going through the day, but then you looked at your sleep tracker and it gave you a 65%, believe yourself, because it's good to say that you're getting good sleep. When you wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes that the percentage, they're getting better, but they're still lagging behind with it. So it's something I believe into, but if it's being more of a hindrance than a help, then I'm like, take that ring off, take that watch off, because it's literally something, the term is called orthosomnia, where like you're looking at the numbers. So instead of going to bed, you're thinking of it as like a test that you're going to pass or fail. Nope, sleep is a fundamental part of your life, of what you do and use.
Yeah. So since the sleep trackers have come a long way, it's turned sleep into a competitive sport. So
Yeah,
it's fun to try to achieve better and better numbers, but don't put all your eggs in that one basket.
exactly. And just like always, you gotta listen to your body, listen to yourself, because your body will always give you signs and symptoms. It's, you just gotta listen to them. I wish that being humans, I feel like we need to take notes from our non-human, like from our pets, because you don't see a dog not skipping their nap, or when it's time for them to go to bed, they're going to go to sleep. So like they understand that it's a part of their pillar of health. We need to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's an innate thing. They're not binging Netflix or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Well, I hope you can stick around after for a bit for some follow up. But Sleep Doctor Chris, I just wanted to thank you so much for your time and your insight. I hope this video goes on to help a lot more people.
Yep. And I always tell people that if you have problems and you are having problems with your sleep, 4 words for you. You know a guy. Not that hard to find. I know my name is very common, but if you put in Sleep Dr. Chris, Sleep Dr. Chris, or you can go to sleepdrchris.com. You can find me. I have some tools out there just to help you sleep. And speaking of tool, like the sleep hoodie from Deep Sleepwear, it's amazing. And that's why I really came on here, because I believe in that product.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm going to include for both of our followers. I'm going to include the coupon code that you have for a discount off a sleep hoodie if people would want to try it. So thank you again and pleasant dreams.
Take care. Sweet dreams.